Welcome to Postscripted. Love is Unscripted, an unscripted gaming podcast about Love is Blind Season 6. My name is Josh, joined by my illustrious co-hosts, Mike and Ray.
Hello.
Hello.
Excuse me, let me pour this beverage into this non-distinct gold chalice so that you never know just how much booze I have left at any given time.
For the edit.
Uh-oh. I've made a mistake. The foam is too big.
Thy chalice overflows.
Thy chalice overflows, just like the drama begins to overflow in our next two episodes. Today we are discussing Love is Blind Season 6 episodes 5 and 6, where we finish our time in the pods and get our first look in the real world with our couples.
Yes, finally. I have been told that this is, compared to previous seasons, this is an we spent a lot of time in the pods. We've been in the pods for a minute. I am ready to exit to EVA from the pods here. We gotta get out of here.
We're putting on our EVA suits and we're venturing outside to the real world of Punta Cana. So, you know. But no,
that's right.
That's where the honeymoons take place, Punta Cana. But I will say yes, we spent a lot of time in the pods, but I feel like in this season compared to others, there was so much more that was happening in the pods. So like we kind of had to be in there because there were so many love triangles, and in this the next episode we see several of them resolve in very dramatic fashion. So we had to take the time to let them all play out.
Yeah, I guess the first big one we kind of start with here is,
I will say the opening scene of this episode, just with Trevor in the room and Chelsea walking, just like you knew in that moment that my big boy was about to be alone in that room for quite some time.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is such a bummer. I say, be free, Giant King. Be free. As we'll maybe get into in a little bit in the next episode. I just think that they're just so much more of a natural fit than Jimmy and Chelsea, and I can't believe that. I just can't believe it. But like,
I do have a note for Trevor that maybe Mike will appreciate.
Yeah.
It says, LOL, Trevor is let down. Jimmy was chosen. Ha. I also, okay, you don't appreciate that one. But the next one.
Yeah, hey.
You've been baited.
Got him.
No, the other one that I think you'll appreciate, since you are a fan of this person. Trevor saying, I don't want to walk out here crying, so you can go. Goodbye. And I commented, what a king. Keep your head up, king.
Bro, we'll get more into like him and Chelsea in a minute, like, but that was cold-blooded in a way that I appreciate. I was like, hey, I need a minute and you don't need to be here, so go. Like,
just like,
you have my permission to leave.
Yeah. When it's like, you're not the one who gets to be sad right now. Like, you got your person. You're the one breaking my heart. So like, don't sit here and try and
he's a really mature, like, accountable thing to say. I think like, I really liked how Trevor had handled some of this stuff. Now his it gets a little catty here, just a tiny bit.
Well, first let's
bust out the timeline.
Yeah. Well, first we got we have Chelsea going to Jimmy. Bucket of beers at the ready, just a bunch of Miller Lights. I knew Mike would appreciate that about as much as I did. And
were
Jimmy,
they Millers?
I believe they were Miller Lights. And Jimmy just being an idiot, like, just came from a breakup and now I'm here. Like, sometimes I'm just like, Jimmy, shut the fuck up. But he goes on a little ramble about how he feels connected to Chelsea, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Then he gets down on one knee and gives a weak-ass proposal, and then he says something to the line of, I'm not really good at this kind of stuff. And I just, wrote, no shit, you dumbass. Like,
consider getting better, perhaps.
Yeah. We'll
see.
This will continually come up throughout this entire season, but, I don't know what it is with these people thinking that Jimmy got the Riz, but he doesn't got it. I just don't see it.
I have a note about that, and my note is directly congruous to what you're saying, Josh. And it's that now this is kind of a negative note. Not all of these are like this, but this one is. I said this is one of the problems with this show when Jimmy proposes and Chelsea says yes. Marriage in this show is treated more like an award, something to be won, or a badge of honor that you wear, than it is a serious commitment to another human being. If anything, if anyone watches this show and takes the concept of marriage seriously, you're doing it wrong. This show does not treat marriage seriously at all, and that's why.
Well, you know,
and that's why Josh is.
Boo!
It's true. Josh is over here like, yo, boy, you're acting like an idiot. And it's like, yeah, anyone that participates in the show is kind of not smart. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, I do think, like, there is a bit of a... I think, like... I get your point, right? But also, like...
If
you're in your late 20s, early 30s, and you're like, I'm ready to get married... I'm going to go on a speed dating thing dedicated to finding other people who are ready to get married. I can see I can see the pitch, right?
Yeah.
And that you can make that work.
Like, literally,
Is that always what we get?
Yeah,
No,
you're getting an opportunity to go and, like, sit down and do nothing but get to know another human being. Like, what other context do people normally have where all they can do is devote their time to getting to know somebody without any other distractions besides getting to learn everything about a person? Like, I'm not saying it's a
There's no phone.
Yeah,
nobody has phone.
You don't have your phone, and you're not.
Important point.
You're
Nobody has phone now.
Yeah.
I was about to
point.
answer this question seriously, Josh. Like, wait, are you really saying this? You could talk to people. You could just
not like in this context. You have work. You have other people talking.
Everyone does this.
You have work and phone.
You have work and phone. People want to make me do stuff outside of phone, but I go from work and I get on phone.
Right.
Yes. I've heard, you know, thankfully I locked Mrs. Metroid Man down very early on. I haven't had to date as an adult.
Before phone.
Yeah, before phone.
Before phone.
Before the internet.
EP.
Back in ye olden days. But boy howdy, does it sound like a fucking nightmare. So, like, I do see how some people could be presented with this idea and be like
a different kind of nightmare.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that there aren't people who go on with the ulterior motive of going on for clout or being, you know, producers picking somebody who they know is going to be messy, but like there are also people on there like Johnny and Amy are really trying and they are really into it. And I believe that, you know, Kenneth and Brittany are also out there really trying. Like there are, I think your opinion on that is a little reductive. I'm not saying it's not inaccurate because this is still a, you know, a reality television show. It is for.
I don't think it's reductive at all.
I am watching it for my entertainment, but like also these are human beings and their feelings are valid, and there are people.
These are human beings.
There are people from this show and other dating shows in years past that have been together now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 years. Like, you know, it does happen. It's not perfect, but
we haven't even really scraped the bottom of the barrel as far as like relationship television shows go, Ray. We haven't even gotten to like MILF Island yet. Just wait. That's gonna be Josh's pick.
Excuse me, sir. It's called MILF Manor.
MILF Manor. Excuse me. MILF Island.
There's alliteration going on
is
there.
The 30 Rock bit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
that show sounds like a bad pitch, and someone actually said, "Wait, yes."
Hey, it always starts as a bad pitch. So we get Captain Riz himself over here, Captain Charisma, just making his proposal. Chelsea saying yes, and then we go to Trevor, and I have so many notes on this, and the thing I said, poor buddy, poor Trevor.
This is so like he takes it on his big meaty lobster chin.
Yeah.
Like Larry from SpongeBob.
I was about to say lobster chin.
And kind of like we were alluding to, I do love how he's as Chelsea just like goes into it, he's like, "Man, that doesn't sound positive." And then he's like, it's
so right too.
But he doesn't let her get away with it. He's like, it's because of someone else, right? And he's just like, hey, if they make you happy, that's great. But he kind of questions her a little bit of like, sounds like you got some questions there about it. Like, what are we? Are you?
Yeah,
You don't
like,
sound so sure.
The killer line here is when he is like, if I was first, would you have said yes?
Yeah. He also challenges
and
her
she
on the.
Can't answer
No,
it.
she can't.
Because she knows the answer is yes.
Yep. He also is like, so you pick.
Oh wait, you mean marriage is a badge of honor of this show, and it's not about the commitment of the people?
No, this is
Shut
more
up, Ray,
indicative
we know.
this is more indicative of Chelsea being an incredibly insecure person than
Right.
I
marriage.
actually have a note for that. I have a note for that. To my king, my now brother man, I would love to have a beer with Trevor. Bullet dodged. Keep your head up.
Perhaps, as we
But I love that he calls out too. He's like, so I just need to clarify that you're picking the dude that was caught up on another girl and couldn't fully commit to you right away versus the man who has been your 100 the
Bro.
entire time. Like, just buddy.
Just dynamite. Just bars. Like, facts. FAX, fax machine.
Then
Trevor.
he throws in the last little jab there of like, I've been pressing the bracelet you gave me 100 times today. The bracelet that she fucking gave him.
She doesn't do it back.
And she's not wearing it. And he's like, I'd probably annoy you with how much I touched it anyway, so it's fine. Just like, buddy.
At that moment, Chelsea realized she had up.
Made a mistake.
Nah, Trevor's winning out here. It hurts now, Trevor. It hurts now, but you won, actually.
Yeah.
You won the gold medal.
And
we'll get to that in episode 6,
episode
I guess.
6 really shows us
Yeah,
how
I'm going to go ahead and
this
say
is gonna go.
Most of episode 6 annoyed me. We're getting to it later, but let's finish episode 5. I have things I wrote about episode 6.
Next up, I think, is probably the closing of the book of the Laura, Jeremy, Sarah Ann situation. And again, this is a diabolical edit because, like, I know they're setting up some business here because Jeremy leaves this door extremely wide open for Sarah Ann.
Boy, yeah, there are some
He's
uncomfortable.
Like, I guess I'm breaking up with you on a technicality, but like.
Yeah, he's like,
it's
just like, it's so. He's like
our CPAP warrior, a snake.
He's shitty wholesome at the same time of like, I have my person, but also I've told you things that I haven't told her, and like, I have nothing wrong with you, just I like her more, I think. And then Sarah Ann's like, we'll be seeing each other again, and he's like, oh yeah, we'll be seeing more of each other. I'm like, bro, what? Also, though,
hold on, back up. What did you want him to say to that?
I don't think that I will.
But this show is in season 6. You know, they even mentioned in episode 5, they will meet the abandoned couples later. Yes, they will see each other later.
There's a way you can say like, oh yeah, like we'll see each other versus like, yeah, we'll be seeing each other.
That's the thing.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it, and how he said it was insinuating a lot.
I have here Sarah Ann probably deserves to be alone right now. Go home, Sarah Ann. Go find your quote unquote true patriot and go commit a crime together. I guess.
Man, I will say
social is calling for you, Sarah.
100%. Though I will say, Laura, when Sarah Ann comes back into the women's quarters and Laura just goes, "Uh-oh," I'm like, you shady lady.
Laura is such a baddie. I love her.
Oh my god, she's
my favorite.
She loves to stir the pot. She's
so fun.
She's me in female form, like.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, no, but yeah. Actually,
I get a little. I can get a little messy. I fly a little lower under the radar than Laura does, but like I like to get messy. I like to stir some shit up.
Okay, I just had a joke about Josh in female form. Josh in female form is just when George Santos does drag and becomes Katara.
I mean, I'll take it, but
I have to ask you guys. I'm not seeing the like messy snake that you guys are calling Laura to be. Maybe I'm not paying that much attention. I just saw in the same scene, Sarah Ann walks into the female quarters and Sarah Ann says, "It's you." I was like, she says, "Ah, cool, great."
But see, here's the thing. Before Sarah Ann says it's you, Laura sees Sarah Ann and that she's upset. And she knows that's the other person that Jeremy is dating. Like, she knows that she just got broken up with and that she's the one. She doesn't need Sarah Ann to confirm it. And she just goes, uh-oh. Like, oh, no, who could have possibly broken your heart? Like, that's so shady. It's hilarious. I love it.
Love her.
But also, like, she knew what she was doing in that moment. 1,000%.
Can someone help jog my memory here? Because these next two notes, my notes take a bit of a turn on Jeremy here. Let me back to back here. I've got Laura / Jeremy proposal, parentheses, derogatory, and then all caps, firing squad for Jeremy. I'm not sure exactly what happened to make me turn so dramatically here.
I was about to say, like, I don't know. I thought he was just kind of chill. I don't know.
What did he say?
I don't. So since I watched these before, I'm watching them on like 1.5 speed. I really did not dive too deep into his proposal, so I don't really remember what he said during that time. But I don't have any strong feelings at that point. So,
regardless, I'm not feeling Jeremy. I'm not buying this.
I'm the complete opposite. I actually have a note that says 4 words. I respect Jeremy's swagger. Whether he is, that's the note. Whether he is actually like sincere or whether this is just all for a bit, because it seems like he's constantly right? On. You know what I mean? Like he's very aware the cameras are there and he is playing it up. And you know what? Power to you. I respect the fact that you're just like winking and nodding at the ever-present 6 cameras for different angles that are surrounding you at all times. Why not? I think that's fun. I think that makes it entertaining. Jeremy has filled the Trevor-sized hole in my heart of entertaining male characters I need to see.
So after that proposal, we move on to Jimmy and Chelsea finally meeting.
The reveal. Oh my god, this is diabolical.
I love the note I have here is Jimmy villain arc because of the music. How does the producers know you're supposed to feel bad?
So
let's put in a stinger.
So many things happen in this scene. It's a lot to unpack. So Mike, do you have any notes you want to start off with on this?
I just say, like, again, this is diabolical. I think at one point he accidentally uses Jessica's name.
Does he?
Which is just like,
I missed that.
It's just so juicy, especially after episode 4, where she's like, literally, you will choke if you ever see me. 100%. Which is so funny. His mind.
This is just overarching for the scene, but like, I did notice that at the like, it takes him a long time to reciprocate any of the nice things that Chelsea says. So like, Chelsea starts off with like, "You're so handsome, I love you," blah blah blah, and like he kind of,
"You don't look like Megan Fox."
Yeah, he kind of dodges it. Now he does end up saying it towards the end of the meeting, but like early on, he's not necessarily reciprocating that. And he mentions at one point in his little side interview, like, "I got in my head about some things." And I'm like, what are the things, Jimmy? What are we talking about? And
I think not to give Jimmy any W's, because he gets those W's later. He mentions that line. I think Mike said it. "I look like Megan Fox." Like, yeah, maybe maybe someone
Well,
shouldn't have
seeing
said
as
that
the
out loud.
episode is titled "She Lied to Me," and he says, "Oh, she lied to me. She doesn't look like Megan Fox." Like,
Oh my god, it's so bad. Like,
That's funny.
oh, it just. I agree, Josh. Like, just his general vibe is just not.
well,
This is something Jimmy struggles with. I think.
Yeah.
Is just like
because he doesn't
conveying
have
these two people are not aligned at all in terms of like what he gives and
versus what
she
she needs. Absolutely.
And like, is he not doing enough? Maybe. Is she maybe needing too much? Maybe.
It's six.
But,
I mean, in
like,
that it's six
it's
of one.
both and both.
It's six of one,
Yeah.
half a dozen of the other. Like, he's not giving enough. She might need too much, but like at the end of the day, they're not matched up. Like, it's okay to need a lot of affirmations. Like, yes, at some point you do need to go to therapy and work on that, but like, it's okay to need that affirmation, but like, you have to find somebody who is willing to affirm you in that way. There are people out there who can do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jimmy is wearing a shirt that says, "I don't care what you look like, I love you," and she keeps asking questions, and he keeps responding, "You're asking questions that should be clearly answered by my shirt."
He's exactly doing
Well,
that.
this is anybody.
I love my ugly wife is raising a lot of questions answered by my t-shirt. Like,
anybody in this who was watching this at the beginning, and in meme culture, definitely got a lot of the Jimmy help me eyes memes in their feeds for weeks after this first episode. Just like him hugging her and him having this wide-eyed look of like,
he like shoots the camera directly and like,
just spikes it, just like, oh my god, what have I done?
Again, all of this is so funny because he like, this whole situation we're watching is because Jimmy wanted to back out on Jessica because she has a 10-year-old daughter. That's what this whole thing is still about.
100%.
It's still about that,
and it's never not. It's never not.
He's willing to go to not be a stepdad.
This is how willing he's so far. He's willing to go to not be a stepdad and prove that it wasn't just because of not wanting to be a stepdad.
No, sir, not today. Not
no.
me.
It's because I truly love this woman. What else? Why else would I have said no to Jessica? There's no other reason.
Kind of raised my hand.
Absolutely.
Jessica's personality also sucked. I want to throw that out there.
Nah,
I disagree.
Hard disagree.
That's fine.
She kind of sucked.
Hard disagree. You're not
disagree.
gonna find any friends here, Ray, on that opinion.
That's fine. That's my opinion.
Again,
if you want to tell Ray that he's wrong
stand...
about Jessica, why don't you, at the listener at home, craft an email and send it to mailbag@unscriptedgaming.com.
That sounds like a great idea, Mike. You mean somebody can go to their web browser and go to their electronic mail provider of choice and send an email to mailbag@unscriptedgaming.com?
That's right.
That's incredible. And everybody can tell Ray how wrong he is and how Jessica is the third least toxic person on the show.
Wow.
100%.
You can send that, and I will do this beautiful thing called send it to spam.
Nah.
Did you know that I don't have to take shit when it comes to a reality TV show?
Ray, I know your friends, and yes, you do. You 1,000,000,000% do.
Back to actual what we were talking about. Oh, you guys are saying like he chose Chelsea because okay, let's pretend on the real here. You say he chose Chelsea because he does not want to admit to Jessica that, hey, you dropping that you have a child on the third date made me uncomfortable. It's like, yeah. So let's say he said that. What changes?
He doesn't blow up Chelsea's life because he makes a decision because he's afraid of being alone or looking bad rather than just saying like, hey, I don't know that our lives are compatible and this other person just isn't the right fit for me either. Like,
wait, so you're saying that he chose I'm just trying to say, like, the fact that he never said out loud, let's pretend I'm not in his head. The fact that he never said out loud, I don't want to be with you, Jessica, because I'm not ready for the type of relationship your situation asks for.
Would have had 1,000,000,000% more respect for him.
Okay, you would
Yeah.
have had more respect from him. That wouldn't have changed his dynamic with Chelsea. He
I
still wouldn't have had dated Jessica.
I
don't
think
get
it
where you're
would have
coming
though,
from.
because I think he doubled down on Chesley specifically because of Jessica, not because he actually cares about Chelsea. And rather than admit that he wasn't ready to be a stepdad, he decides that he is more in love with Chelsea, rather than say
That's how I think.
that I'm not ready to be a stepfather. Like, that is what I 1,000,000,000% agree, believe.
I disagree with that. I think you're taking a PB&J sandwich and you're accusing it of being a turkey. I feel like you're forcing in this narrative that probably doesn't exist. Like, according to his relationship, say this is all on the level. He believes that Chelsea has the personality she has and that she looks like Megan Fox. So when he goes and see her, like, oh shit, you don't look like Megan Fox, but I chose you. I've been going through a lot. He even mentions constantly, hey, this whole situation has I took this note. Hey, this whole situation has emotionally drained me. I don't think I'm not sure if I would do this again. This experiment was not great for me, but I am glad I found you. Like, I think
He
he's
also said after he broke up with Jessica, he almost went home. So, like,
yeah.
when you break
that
up with
tracks.
somebody and you're more in love with somebody else, you don't go home. You run
Right.
to them and you tell them how much you love them. And you don't sit there and say, I'm really not good at this kind of stuff. And I'm not good at telling people how I feel about them. And I'm, upset but happy to be here. Like, no, you say, like, hey, I made a hard choice, but, like, I made it because I'm so sure about it. Like, he does not say any of the affirming things that make you believe that he is 100% convinced by his own choice.
Yeah, I think you're asking for.
I just think he's lying to himself a little bit.
Yes.
I think you're asking for sort of emotional stability that you might not find in this show. You know what I mean?
But there are examples of that kind of emotional stability in this show. So, like,
Yeah, if
he's
you
just
throw
not he's not there. He
If
sucks.
you shoot enough shotgun shells, you might hit the target. You know what I mean? Like, it just because it happens doesn't mean it's like a constant. These are clear. These are
interest
clearly
of
the
time.
messiest ones because the camera spends so much time on them. I was watching this show while like playing Final Fantasy Advance, and I got through like 2 battles for as many scenes as they've spent on like the Jimmy, not Sarah Ann. I'm sorry, I'm getting the names confused. Don't tell me. Jimmy Chelsea saga. Like, I would say of the 1 hour show, 1 hour episode of episode 5, easily 25 minutes was just spent on just those two and not the other couples.
Yeah, because it's good
Right,
television.
right,
Because Jimmy is emotionally stunted, and he made a
'Cause
bad
I like
choice.
making fun of Jimmy because he
Yeah,
sucks.
like it's
At a certain point, this is kind of like
And
beating up on people.
Yeah.
I say
because
what
you
I
know what?
feel,
If everybody
I
didn't
think
say that Jimmy
sucks.
had the Riz when he clearly doesn't, I wouldn't be so upset and I wouldn't care as much. But that's my main problem is everybody's like, oh, Jimmy, your voice is so cute. Oh, Jimmy. Oh, my God. Jimmy. I'm like, buddy, no, he doesn't have it. What is
North
happening?
Carolina
Zip up
is-
your pants from your hate boner.
North
for
Carolina
God's
has like an overpopulation problem of Jimmies.
It really
Jimmies are
did-
like an invasive species in North Carolina. There's I'm sorry, I'm so mean to him, but like
Yeah, at a certain
there's
point.
not he's nothing. We
Th-
got to get
this-
to the Dominican Republic here, folks.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is like, hey,
Yeah, so
we're just going to beat up on this person.
last moment of the pods, we
Now
get
we're
Laura
getting
and Jeremy. Fine, they have a nice,
reveal.
meeting. They seem to be very into each other. They're very pleased with each other's opinions or each other's appearances, even though Laura makes it very clear she does not want any Hawaiian shirts from Jeremy. Punta Cana, we are in our honeymoon phase, baby.
We get the beautiful transition music, like we're in the real world now.
We're in the real world. We are together. We are outside of the pods. We are at the resort. Every couple gets a little montage of like them doing a selfie while they're getting into their room and whatnot. And we start off with Jimmy and Chelsea just having a good time, and already having a bit of a row here in their hotel room.
Why are you talking about this? Go to the beach. Like it's the thing about Jimmy Chelsea that is just so exhausting is because again, like we've already established, like just from the pods that like these people like they are just not aligned and they talk past each other, and that is like they are already doing this, and it's like they just fucking got to the hotel room. Like, how are we doing this immediately? Oh my god.
Yeah, because it does. I know it varies from season, but I mean, it sounds like okay. We have this time in the pods and we travel, but they travel like separately or on various flights and whatnot, and then they're reunited in the honeymoon location. So like they really have only spent a little bit together after
That's
having
right,
spent
yeah.
days together, through the walls. And then now we're like, okay, we're spending time together. This is our first real time to like just sit down and be together, and they're bickering already. Like, it doesn't scream a steady relationship.
Well, no, they proposed to each other after like 5 days. Why would it be steady?
Well, because you get the Amy Johnny stuff in here, and like again, the edit is the edit, right? But like
Mm-hmm.
Amy and Johnny are not having like these kind of snipey misunderstanding like little fights
Yeah,
or like little chats.
they're
Like
literally just
Johnny's like
having a good
Johnny's like,
time.
look, I saw a lizard. I'm like, I love you, Johnny. For those who know Mike lore, I love a lizard. I love
Yes.
seeing a lizard. So when Johnny saw a lizard and was like, look, a lizard, I'm like, Amy, you gotta
Critter
lock him
Mike.
down. You got. That's all you need to know.
Every
He likes a critter. He likes a little guy.
every time I see a lizard in Florida, I send a picture to Mike. I make sure that he gets to see the little critter.
I like a little guy. They're look at me, let them go. Great.
But I mean, like even Jeremy and Laura, like they're having a nice little time, giggling and whatnot. She tells him to dress like an adult because his Henley shirts and his Hawaiian shirts, yada whatever. But like also like okay, like
My Henleys.
yeah. I did have a
What a
note
very
here.
specific
Jeremy
word.
is
That's so funny.
drunk. He's having a very good time. Like he got a little tipsy on the
It's like,
champagne
I got my
early.
sunglasses in the pool with my t-shirt on.
Yep.
Ooh.
I got rose petals here. We're gonna have a good time.
I was watching that part and I'm like, this is fine. All
Yeah.
of this is
Yep, Johnny and
Cool.
Amy.
Yeah.
Johnny and Amy, cute as
Oh my
fuck.
God.
Oh my god, they're so adorable. And then I wrote, Adie and Clay, tension.
Clay D. I think Clay. I've got like Clay's kind of reverting back to his like body,
Yeah.
like kind of vibes. How does he not know about wedding rings?
Okay, here's
This
the
was crazy.
I wrote this. I was like, Clay has obviously never been to a wedding, and he does not know how this shit works. I mean, obviously, like
he says that. He admits that as much.
Yeah, just like he does not know the mechanics
Like-
of a wedding. He doesn't know about like wedding bands, which I assume, given what we know about his father, like his father wasn't the kind to wear a wedding ring ever. So like it's just boy,
Like,
Adie is teaching Clay a lot.
Well, I had a question about like I said this I think in the first episode, and I sent that screen cap to I think you and Mike where Clay is like admitting to AD. This was in episode 4 or 3, where Clay's like, "Listen, I've never gone to therapy, and I probably should." And it's like, well, yeah, obviously we've all known that, but he is like from jump. He is a very emotionally and now we understand societally stunted person. So, and I said this to Mike before last episode. What's worse, the fact that there's so many issues wrong with this man, or the fact that AD said, "Yes, I will marry you"? Like, why?
It's not stupid if
Ray,
it works.
you're getting ahead of yourself. That's an episode 6 conversation. We're almost
No,
there.
I'm only talking about in this episode where he says, "I don't know how wedding bands work. What color am I allowed to wear?" And it's like, you've never been around another. You're in the age bracket.
It's like it's not even just like it's honestly just like it's so impressive just from like a cultural standpoint. Like, how have you not absorbed this from like movies or like you went to a Netflix show and got on the show and you're like, how do wedding rings work? It's like, dog, you were gonna marry somebody. You probably should have known that before the test happens.
Do you read books? Do you
Like,
watch media?
This is like if Josh right now was like, "What's a sandwich?" Like he's never heard of one before.
He
That's what this would be like.
looks at a Subway, a 6-inch Subway sub, and
It's
goes,
like,
"What the fuck is that?"
wait, what is that? Hold on. Wait a minute.
I
Can
wish
I
I
eat
didn't
it?
know what a Subway sandwich was.
That's what
Bait
this is
his
like to me.
ass.
It's just like, what do you mean like you don't know like I get if I would maybe get it if you're like not American, but
That was
like
such an odd line to me.
it's so weird.
I'm going to
It's
say that's
so
kayfabe.
weird to me.
That's too stupid for me. Either he really is that societally stunted,
He might
or it's
be
kayfabe.
that.
I don't know which one.
I think it's the first one.
Ugh.
But like again, I think the Clay and AD is so hard to read sometimes because like sometimes you're like, yeah, it's cute, and then like Clay will say something out of nowhere, and you're just like,
What, brother? What? What are we saying here?
what?
the meme of Thanos grabbing Superman by the cape. Run that back by me, son.
I believe that was Darkseid.
It was Darkseid. You're absolutely right. Not Thanos. SMC.
Actually,
Just make sure to do one of these numbers while you do it. But you are correct. It was Darkseid.
thank you.
But episode 5's coming to a wrap here. You know, we've got the tension there. Brittany and Kenneth.
Yeah, Brittany and Kenneth.
They have a nice little moment. You know, they're getting ready. There's not a lot of tension there. They're really just like talking about some nightly rituals and what's going well. Like it's really cute. But it's definitely from all the other folks, it's a pretty big tonal shift in terms of like how they're interacting together at night. And then we end it.
I put a negative for Kenneth.
Same.
Kenneth says, "I'm ad-libbing." I want to be clear. Kenneth wants a post-mortem every night before they go to bed. Like,
Oh
my brother
God.
in Christ, I can't do
That's
that
too
at
hard.
What the hell are you talking about? I want what was good, what was bad, and what we could do to improve. Come on, team. Let's take notes.
Like, coach. Like, this made me a hater.
Maybe this
section
is
right here.
this
I'm
is
like,
what happens
actually,
when
fuck
this is what happens when you're a 19-year-old principal. Like you fucking just think really
19-year-old
good, really bad ideas are good. Like
fresh out of high school. No,
just
inmates running the asylum.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think I agree, Ray, that like this is so it's like very much like it's so try hard. It's like shut up. Okay.
yeah, wanting a post.
I'm a
they've already
hater now.
established hey, we're not having sex until marriage. That's a you thing. But wanting a post-mortem every night before bed, like, oh yeah, you definitely have never had sex before. That's a weird
Get his
thing to
ass.
say.
If he had, he'd be like, "Oh no, we're either having sex or going right to bed." Like those are the bedtime options. Like
You can read a book. You can go ahead and binge watch a show. You could talk. It's cool. But my man said every night I want to go
Gonna
ahead
have
and break out the
a
notebook.
business meeting. I'll play the team's call sound effect on my phone
Boop,
just to simulate the business nature of this.
Boop, boop, boop,
Can we get an
boop,
audible? Can we get
dude.
some snacks during the postmortem bedtime meet? Like, shut the F up. What? Can you imagine?
Can you take minutes?
Imagine if your partner said right before, you've had a long night, you're just ready to tuck in, and then leans over and says,
Hey, babe.
so give me the best, give me what was good, what went bad, and what we could do to improve upon tomorrow.
Right,
Like, I don't know.
I need you to write a hamburger essay for each day of your life.
Oh, that.
and turn it into me, please.
Hey, listen, this went good, but this went bad, but this went good. No, I cannot.
I need to write some more specific. I need to be better about putting what's happening on the screen and not just what I'm feeling, because we end on we get one more Jimmy Chelsea thing in episode 5.
I have a note about this. Go ahead.
And I just say I want to kill myself and haunt Jimmy from beyond the grave. 0 Riz, all caps, teeth like she's a horse. That's a very mean thing to say, Mike. Very
I-
transactional. Shout out to Homemade Orthodontics. Jimmy has the sex appeal of face-tuned Newt Gingrich.
God,
Phase 2 Newt
got
Gingrich,
him.
Just
nice.
a lot
I
of
just
stuff
the
happening
last thing I
there.
said
I
is
call
just like
Jimmy a. Go
he
ahead,
just needs to know when to shut up and know when to talk, and he seems to get them wrong every time.
Just gonna switch.
Every time,
I,
every time he's supposed to say something, he doesn't, and every time he's not supposed to say anything, he fucking opens his mouth. And Jimmy, my man, doesn't got it. It's just so unbelievable.
I have a very mean thing I wrote about this character named Jimmy. When he's brushing his teeth, and it's an innocuous scene until he says, "Like, yeah, I cut myself on my teeth, my toothbrushes sometimes." I wrote, "Jimmy, you are a weak man."
No,
And
Ray.
he says,
Ray, he
so-
usually uses soft bristles, and these are hard, and he has a hard
Yeah,
time.
that's what I wrote. Like, I cut myself brushing my teeth. Good lord! When the revolution comes, you are the first to die, Jimmy.
Doesn't have the Riz.
What a shocking thing to say out loud. You know, he talks about his eczema, and that's like whatever. But when she asks, like, "Do you just brush your teeth too hard?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I get all up in there." Like, okay, this is an awkward bathroom conversation. I gotta say.
I'm gonna fuck up these gums tonight, baby.
Listen, I like to brush my teeth so hard I physically bleed, and if I don't use soft bristle, it becomes a whole issue, and I'm gonna make it your issue, and that's what you're marrying. Good lord.
Episode
Riz.
6.
Riz.
We gotta keep moving. We gotta.
Johnny and Amy, physical 11 out of 10. Fucking we spicy. Johnny and Amy are having a good time. They love
There's
each other.
Amy, Johnny, please save us.
They're
You're
having-
our
they're-
only hope.
they're just
An
so-
island in a store.
They're cute.
Nightmare
They're cuddly.
people.
They're snuggly. They're having a good time. Just I love that moment.
There's
Um,
another early Amy Johnny scene here where she's like, they're playing in the pool and he's like walking her towards the fountain and she's like, don't. And then Johnny doesn't do it.
Yep.
And it's just like stuff like that, like
very
a
wholesome.
dumber, less
Mhm.
like, there would be a whole arc about like, hey, I didn't want to get wet under the thing. And then you did. And
be a
you're
whole
like,
fight.
I'm laughing at you. Like there's a whole arc. That it is such a thing
Yeah.
that could happen to like a couple on the show easily, and Johnny's just like, no, okay, I won't do
Yep.
that. It's just
It
like,
was funny. It was we had a good little joke, but
oh,
no.
it's so good.
I admit half of my notes, quite literally 50%, are titled Clay Villain Arc. So I have little to contribute to this
Yeah.
until we start talking about
hey.
that.
This is a random note. I was like, 80s glasses, cute as fuck. She should wear them more often. Those like really thick tortoiseshell glasses, pretty cute.
I did have a note about Clay saying, "Yeah, we wear glasses. We're part of the Geek Squad." And my follow-up note is, "I hate this show."
I do like Clay's fashion. I feel like he's always like
he's
well
pretty good.
dressed.
Jared.
The only societal thing he can do. He knows drip.
Yeah, he does have drip.
The other thing I wrote, Jeremy, bring your CPAP. Oh my God, just.
Josh getting secondhand, like, "Listen, man,
Yeah.
we need to talk to you about breathing while you
EPAP
sleep."
warriors gotta stick together.
It's
No.
true.
I say I've got Laura and Jeremy fake. I'm already kind of selling on the Laura Jeremy arc here.
Selling.
I'm not buying. I'm not
He's
buying.
not
it,
buying
I
it.
think.
Okay, yeah.
I think there's a couple little cracks, like kind of already in. I feel like I don't think there's like one big thing that happens, but just like enough little like.
It seems that the Laura shtick is wearing on Jeremy pretty quickly, and vice versa. Like they both have they both have their little jokes and their little quips, and they don't seem to be meshing very well.
Yeah, because it kind of it doesn't really blow up until like the party. But yeah, early in episode 6, you get some hints that like something's going on.
Yeah.
I think.
Then we get to Clay not understanding physiology or women at all.
I have 5 notes for this. May I?
Fire away.
Excellent. Clay, I would not let you get out of shape. AD, we getting in that fucking gym. I wrote that word for word, and I paused the show to make sure I wrote that like, ooh, that's an interesting thing to say out loud.
My brother in
after-
Christ, you cannot say that to your wife.
Not wife yet. Not wife yet, fiance, yeah. And then Clay, next, a couple moments later, I think a whole minute later, I will be with you in that gym. This is it in reference to AD mentioning when I get pregnant, my body will change. Clay is, without saying it, inferring like, hey, when you get pregnant, you should still go to that gym. And I was like, wow. I think that's not an okay thing to say.
I think I'm legitimately brain damaged, guys.
Yeah.
Why?
He says something along the lines of like, we got to get you right. You got to get you right. Like, it's just like,
Yeah, he did say that.
it's not that easy.
I have to. I'm sorry. I had to interrupt you, Josh. I think I'm legitimately brain damaged.
Okay.
AD Clay, buddy, what are you talking about? Fitness, body image stuff, cringe face. But as usual, Clay kind of turned this around. This is nice.
Oh, Mike is. I see it now. I see it. Mike is falling for the Clay Riz. Mike is over here. Never be a Clayer hater. He's all up in.
I've pre-ordered my PlayStation 5.
I think here's the issue is
No.
because here's the thing is Clay is trying to be sweet. He doesn't know that he's not. And AD goes, I get what you're saying and I appreciate you caring about me. Is a terrible delivery, but she's like, I appreciate you. And then he starts talking about wanting to do couples therapy with her and wanting to hear about her therapy. And she starts talking about this. This is what I wrote down. I think that's what got Mike is that, he tries to salvage it, and then AD salvages it for him.
Yeah.
And then she talks about her therapy, how she's been in therapy for a year or so. And she talked about how she found herself in this weird dating loop where she keeps dating the same kind of people.
Oh,
like Clay.
Oh my god.
She's like,
Yeah,
I had to
think
get
that's
out
it.
of the dating loop. And I'm like, oh, you mean like the one you're in right now, this fucking second?
She mentioned that in episode 2 that I typically date people that are bad for me because she puts looks ahead of common sense. Her words, partially, not mine. And so even when she doesn't know when this person looks like, and even when the person says, hey, what do you look like? Because I'm not going to marry someone unless you're a baddie or you're a hottie. And she's like, ugh, I should just dump him. But then she ends up getting engaged to him. Like, wow. We are in remission. There are some lessons learned. I'm sure you got from some help, maybe a professional that you are not applying right now, because this guy keeps saying the thing. There's red flags, and then there's China. This guy very much cares about looks over anything else. And the fact that he went on a show called Love is Blind is kind of an odd testament to his character. I don't know. I don't know how to read that. Or maybe the producers, as Mike was saying earlier, maybe the producers picked him like, you're a messy bitch. Get on this show.
Oh, yeah, you'll do great.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
And
Get
here's the thing is like Clay, and this is one where he has done really good social osmosis. He's picked up a lot of the weaponized therapy words without having gone to therapy. And whether or not, maybe he did try and do some self-help or some self-study at some point, but like at the end of the day,
several times, no, he has not.
No. Here's what I'm saying. Like he's not gone to therapy. He may have watched, the occasional motivational video or something that like got him on that path, but he also might have just picked up the weaponized therapy words to make it sound like he's being intentional when he's not. And that's, I think, Clay's biggest problem, or Clay's biggest issue is like he talks the talk of somebody who's going to put in the work, but like
maybe doesn't quite understand.
I have
Yeah.
a very mean analysis of that I think probably only Mike might get, but Josh might get it. Clay is a Jordan B. Peterson fan. And
100%.
He's real like clean your room and it'll all go away.
Clay
I
sees
see
everyone
that.
as a lobster.
Damn.
Got him.
Yeah, I mean, hey, but I kind of get where he's coming from because, like, I went to therapy one time and my therapist was like, "Body," so maybe he's right about some
Well,
stuff. Who knows?
I like Clay's admission right here, where he's like, "Listen, I'm fucked up a little bit. My counter note or my bottom up note is neat. You should ... ellipses go do something about that."
Yeah, go to therapy power rankings. Like, it's Clay and Chelsea neck and neck, really, and then everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, nobody else is close.
I admit I have no notes for the beach party thing because this was kind of like too much. Like I was watching it. I promise on God I was watching it, but there was no meat on this bone for me to take notes on because some of it's innocuous and some of it's like I have your conversations. Just be human. Just be.
He did the Ray. You did the Moon Knight blackout thing again.
Yeah.
We realized,
fell
Josh,
over.
like when the situation gets too stressful, Ray just like blacks out.
That checks out.
I did take one note like, hey, the females talk having the how big is your male's dick conversation is funny.
Yes.
That's it.
Oh, I have a note here again. Like very funny like sword of Damocles moment here.
Oh yeah.
Folks. Is Jimmy and Chelsea having some kind of like tiff. And Chelsea talks about how she likes her main body type that she likes is big and muscular.
Big and beefy. And
beefy. And we all fucking know at that moment, I'm like, oh my God.
She admits
it's
that
gonna happen.
on the apps, she wouldn't have swiped right on him. And he dodges it and says, oh, I would have. And I'm like, buddy, I don't know that you would have.
All right, cards on table. I think Chelsea's fine looking. I think that she's very mean to herself. It's weird.
Yeah, again.
She got that thick frame going on. She got some nice hips. She no. If she would,
my biggest problem with Beer Inc. Like me, I'm not a tattoo fan, so like.
No, I don't even mind that. Like, go on, girl, go on. They're even tasteful. They're just roses. Like, all right, cool.
Basic.
That you mean that face was you were disgusting. Oh
Josh is the most judgmental person. Tattoos, swipe.
That was like Principal Skinner pathetic.
Billion%.
Wow.
the Skinner like pathetic.
Yeah, that was amazing. But yeah, so like again, nuclear bomb of Damocles here with the eventual reveal that like because the rest we will like Ray just like as a heads up like in the past seasons they do have like a party where like the other people from the pods come to meet like hang out with everybody. So like at some point like Chelsea is going to see Trevor in person. And that's a thing that's going to happen and like this is just
we're gonna meet the triangles are gonna meet the people who they haven't met before at some point. So just buckle up for those moments.
The triangles? Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
All of the other people who were involved in those triangles, the people who got dumped, will come back at some point.
Okay, so that sounds like my personal hell. Where they're like, you know what, we're sick and tired. Even if you guys are like comfy couples, we're going to. This is Josh levels of pot stirring unseen by other humans. Like, what if we made it ultra uncomfortable for everybody involved? But you get a free trip to the Dominican Republic, so
hey,
I'm proud to take that.
Okay, so I guess to wrap up this episode, we have our like couples meet little party.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like again, Laura's outfit is just like she's so bad. She's so cool. We love. I'm a Laura stan. Laura stans, sound off in the comments. We love Laura. Amy, Johnny, save me. Brittany immediately detecting the vibes that like something is up with Jimmy and Chelsea. In here, like she keys into like
locked into that.
Yeah.
And Amy does a good job of that too. So I watched the last half. I rewatched the last half of this episode with my wife right before we recorded this, and so I started right around the time Jimmy yells out. Well, doesn't yell. Excuse me. Jimmy mentions to Chelsea about like, oh, how surprising it is. What he thought people might have looked like. He mentioned something about AD being stacked. I mean, she clearly is. She got that body, yaddy, yaddy. She is fine. And Chelsea goes, AD, how you get that body, girl? Jimmy loves it. And she's like, squats in Jesus. And she engages this conversation, and she opens it up, and Jimmy, being the lovable, stupid fucking moron that he is, goes over and starts talking to AD. And immediately, Chelsea backs away, runs away, and goes and gets in her feelings in this conversation that she started.
Yeah, I have a note about this. I said alleged Jimmy villain arc because Chelsea wasn't being validated for all of 3 seconds. And it's like... Can two human beings talk? They're like, you can hear the conversation they're having. Like, it's the most innocuous stuff. Like, they're at a party, right. They're talking. Who cares?
Because they even get like, where did I had some notes on there? Like, that was AD and Jimmy. I feel like they had like. Yeah, I feel like I think I liked like what they were talking about, but like again,
so
it was...
he starts off on the borderline of inappropriate, of talking about how good she looks and whatnot, but very quickly he transitions into, I'm so happy. I'm pretty sure I'm the happiest dude here. She's perfect for me. And then he goes about talking about how happy he is that she found Clay. He talks about his opinion of Clay's all the way up here, that they're great together.
Yeah.
He's given those
it's just
flirty
an
eyes.
Innocuous adult conversation.
I'm not going to lie and not say that there aren't some undertones, and that AD doesn't clearly like the attention that he is giving her, because there are some, as somebody who has given those drunk eyes to people before, she's aware of them and is clearly enjoying the attention. So like, yes, they're having an innocuous conversation. There is an undertone.
The music
there.
is very like, this is evil. Because then I think like they hug and Chelsea sees this. She's like,
yep. And AD goes like, I loved our conversation. Let's do it again. And she does have, she's got a little flirt to it there. And, maybe that's just how AD is. Again, what is it about Jimmy? But
listen, Jimmy got more swagger. He knows how to unload.
I'm sorry. I do truly think that North Carolina is just down catastrophic for men with personality, because if that is
total and complete shutdown of North Carolina until we could figure out what is going on.
They are on quarantine until we get this situation resolved.
I love this arc of Josh just like shaking his fist at the TV, saying he can't keep getting away with it.
That's the saddest part. Jimmy apparently has a big dick, and
yeah. Apparently he's fucking.
There's no.
He's as stacked as AD.
Josh dropped to his knees and screamed, "No! He can't also have a big
Chelsea
hug!"
literally takes her goblet and goes like this, and I'm like, "That's my forearm, baby!"
like no, he's no girth master,
He can't
down to his kneecap.
He can't have length and girth. That's not fair. That's an affront on God.
I want to say
at
like
the TV, his game's too good, his dick's too big, he has any woman he wants. The anti Jimmy Josh is now my new favorite character.
These bar shots, like they've got some kind of like hidden camera situation, like right where people are ordering drinks. And I don't know what if it's like there's like this red lighting in the bar tent, but it's fucking nightmarish.
Yeah.
I
But
think
like,
that's
cause
just how it's shot.
I think it's just like a hidden camera like tucked in like the corner of the bar because like the angle is like super disorienting
Yeah.
and it's like bathed in like this horrifying red light, and as like Chelsea's dissociating about this stuff, and it's just like this is so nightmare. I love
100%.
it.
I do love that Jimmy just had this conversation with AD. All he did was gas up Chelsea and gas up their relationship. He finds Chelsea hanging out with some of the girls. Dude is drunk and does not know that he's in trouble at first, and is just like, talking
Everybody's so drunk here.
Yeah,
too. That's
he's talking up the other ladies. He's trying to like hold Chelsea's hand. He asks about like, he's like, "Oh, Laura, I think you were my first date," and she's like, "Yeah, I thought she had a cute voice," and they were all kind of like saying, and he's like, "How hard was it to narrow it down to 15?" They're like, "Not hard at all." He's like, "Wow, because I wasn't in any of your top 15. So, they're just having a good time. And Chelsea is not happy still.
Yeah,
Again, because he does not know
Yeah.
he's in trouble yet.
I did not like the editing here, where like if you were say a Josh and you were just a Jimmy hater, this editing makes it look like he's a really bad person. But when you see right through it, it's like I think he's just being a guy right now. Like whether that's good or bad, it's up to you. But this is one of the very few moments where I'm like, I don't think there's any kayfabe. I think they're just drinking and talking. And that's why I
Yeah,
said
drinking
for my
a lot.
comments, I have nothing to comment on the beach stuff. This is just normal.
I think one line here is like I think there's like a point right after this when Jimmy leaves, and like Chelsea is like, hey, we're already have like had kind of some fights, or like he already does is like didn't tell me he loved me, or I forget what the exact thing is, but like Amy says it might get better. And is like, is
Yeah.
already, Amy and Johnny have the best dish sessions after every one of these things.
100%.
Because they're like, holy fuck, you gotta be kidding me. These people hate, oh my God. It's so bad. I guess Amy and Johnny like have a moment where I'm grateful for you.
Yeah.
It's just because they know that they are the only ones who could save us.
I will say the second time I watched this through, I did make a note about AD and Kenneth, because the first time I watched it, I thought AD was being really shady, especially after coming from that conversation with Jimmy. I'm a little less on edge about it now, but I do think that she is messy in challenging Kenneth on his choice about like
A white woman
of like, she's going to be raising black kids. Is she up to it? Is she ready? Are you fucking up your kids by being with this white woman? Like, are you going to Caucasianify them? Like, she really gets after him, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah, that was a weird 5 minutes, and any sort of respect I had for this character named AD, I completely lost. Because that's like, the title of the show that you wanted to be on that's in season 6 is called Love is Blind. 1, he didn't know, and 2, he clearly doesn't care.
Yeah.
Where is this coming from?
And the other person that she had a connection with was a white man. Like the whitest of white men, some might say.
Oh yeah, wait, don't tell me his name. I got so many notes about him. Oh, where is he? Where's my boy at? Damn it, I can't find Matthew!
Yeah.
Matthew! Yes! The Gendo Akari of Love is Blind!
Oh my God. A joke. That's like,
I have 25 questions for you. Let's
three
go.
people who get that joke, and they're on this podcast right here. This is like,
Allie,
if you're
listening, just reach out to me and I will explain the joke to you. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. I might have brain damage. I thought this was like and I thought it was interesting. This was like an interesting conversation we got like a window into about like the realities of like we're like out of the pods now, so like we're not just doing like kind of fun dating. I mean, you know, it is. I don't want to say like it was like quote fun because it's like they're trying to like marry people, right? But
Yeah.
like now they're like,
Shit's getting
okay,
real.
like we are like there's going to be a wedding in like 6 weeks. Like that's a lot to like drop on somebody after you've had like 4 drinks at the pool party. But I thought that was I liked that the camera showed us that conversation. I thought that was interesting to see.
Yeah, it's such a weird. It's so left field, and maybe the person that is 80 looks back on that and says, "Listen, I had too many drinks. I was talking sideways," because that's like a really effed up thing to come.
I know
sideways
we have evidence to the contrary on this podcast, but like I do appreciate, you know, the black excellence idea and the way that they you know, the way that Kenneth appreciates Clay and 80's relationship for that, but also the way she goes about questioning Kenneth is just, in my opinion, too aggressive and almost accusatory rather than saying like, hey, you know, I want to support you and I want to support your future family in this relationship where this woman may not know how to raise black children, may not know how to, you know, tend to black hair, and I'm available as a resource to, like, there's a different way of saying like, I can be a resource to her, or to, are you making the right choice? Like
sorry, go ahead.
And I think there are different ways to say that of like, I appreciate your choice and you're bringing this person into our culture, and I will help you and help her enter that and navigate that, versus are you making the right choice bringing this person into our culture? And I think those are very different ways of thinking, and, you know,
well, what 80's sideways about, and maybe she didn't realize, this is where I say like maybe she like goes back and watches that, or maybe she doesn't for her own sanity. It's like, one, you're not bringing black children. If they get married, you're bringing mixed race kids. That is different. That is very, very different, 80, because talk to people that have mixed race, present company included. You can't tell my melanin count's very high, but most, as both of you both know.
Ray, you're black?
Yeah. Wow.
Fuck, I've known you for 20 years. When were you going to tell me?
For those that only listen to the audio podcast.
Surprise.
No, I am half German. My mom is mixed race. All of my sisters have mixed race kids. And that's a completely different conversation versus, hey, you married a white woman. She's going to give you blood. No, they're going to be mixed race children. It's completely different. Because let's say it's a whole social stigma thing. You want to talk about a social stigma of like Caucasian versus black. When you're in between the two, it is a tug of war type of thing. And normally,
absolutely.
black society accepts you way faster than Caucasian society. And that's probably where 80's coming from.
Yeah, we hate everybody.
Yeah. White people are a problem.
Your words, not mine. That aside, it was odd. I have no further comments on the beach conversation other than wait, I do have one comment.
Please tell me. We gotta talk about bean. We gotta talk about bean dip.
Yeah, we have to swerve into the nonsense that was bean dip AD, and also the really bad joke. And my boy Jeremy getting his heart broke.
Beangate.
Beangate. No.
This is my big ammo of like, I don't think Laura Jeremy is gonna work out because he's like reacts like a child to this situation. Again, everybody is way too drunk, so I don't want to like put too much on this because everybody at this point has just had way too much to drink. But there's like the joke that you make with like your spouse that does not fly or does not go beyond
those you two,
you and them. That is it.
And Jeremy mentioning that Laura made that joke was the problem. Not Laura didn't have to make the joke. Like, I get it. It is an off-color joke, whatever. Like, but at the end of the day, Jeremy should not have said anything to it.
Like, Jeremy has to know that you're putting Laura in a crazy spot by like just being like, "Hey, my wife said she wanted to touch your dick."
Yeah.
I love Laura.
What was it? She wanted to go walk up and like smack.
She wanted to go like
her-
beep beep.
No, she wanted Jeremy to bean dip AD. That was what she said. That she told Jeremy he should bean dip her.
What is this? Okay, did I miss out? Did I black out here? Is bean dipping some stupid little word that the other generation I'm not part of? Where you
Bean dip is something from when we were kids. You literally take your typically it was you take your hand in a little scoop, you get under somebody's breasticle area, and you'd go bean dip, and you'd flip up, and you try and catch some nipple in it, and you make shit jiggle, and that's what it was. You caught him by
I'm gonna
surprise.
Be honest, I never did that. This is my first time hearing it. Y'all crazy. What the hell?
No,
that
you're
is.
Right.
That
Bean
sounds
dip-
like
it's a-
sexual assault.
Yes, it is. From middle school to
Oh my
college, though, did it all the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've always been like 6 foot since I was in 5th grade. That's what I should
Yeah,
do. 6
because
foot
nobody
black
could get
man.
to your
Flips
breasts,
up-
Ray. That's the problem. Nobody
Oh
could
my
reach up to you to bean dip you. They needed a step stool to get up there.
So this isn't a joke. This is just sexual assault. Sexual assault is the joke.
Yeah, but we
I
didn't.
think,
We didn't
the
know it was
specific
sexual assault in
context.
2004.
What do you mean you didn't know?
I think I'm trying in Laura Stan army. We are out here.
Okay.
I think the context.
Mike is
I
about to
think he's
turn
just like,
himself into a
I
fucking
think-
pretzel defending her.
I'm going to walk this very carefully. Now, I think again, the context is she's only telling Jeremy this, right?
Yes.
Is in a conversation between themselves.
In
I think she's
relation
like-
to something that
she's
she's
like,
established
I
in
think
the
it's-
women's quarters with them already.
Right.
Like,
right, because Laura has broached some kind of funny conversations about that in the past.
and
And
I
think
believe it's
she's just,
insinuated that she
AD
has
think
bean
she's
dipped the other
AD
ladies
has,
before.
Like, I think she's like AD has like nice it, or like,
Yeah.
or something, like they're nice.
I like a bean
and
dip.
I just
You
kinda
should bean
want
dip
to
her.
like, yeah, it's like I just think that because in like a weirdly complimentary way,
Mhm.
I think is how Laura sailed the joke to Jeremy.
Yeah.
But like there should probably be there's a miscommunication or a misunderstanding here that when you say something like that, it's not something you then go tell the subject person about, because that's fucking
Yeah.
crazy. And the fact that Jeremy just kind of like is like, oh yeah, this, and then Clay's
Yeah.
like, what?
You want to do
Clay gets all
what?
mad about it.
Yeah. And of course, like,
'Cause he's like,
of course,
"Whoa."
Clay gets fucking pissy about it, but like also, Jeremy spent a lot of time with Clay in the pods. He saw the match and stuff. He should have known that him talking about, even joking about touching AD's boobs would have not gone very well. Like,
Yeah.
Right. And
at several points, Jeremy should have known better, and he should have known that it was Shut the Fuck Up Friday, and Jeremy did not remember that it's Shut the Fuck Up Friday.
Now that I know what bean dipping is, because I was like blacked out throughout
Yeah,
this entire thing.
the first time she said it, like the
you
first
did, you
the first
absolutely did Moon Knight again.
yeah, the first time I watched this, I felt like Obi-Wan in episode 4. Like, now there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Like, I haven't thought about bean dipping since like high school, fucking 15 years ago, and
Goodness gracious.
here we are.
Yeah, it's crazy in this like later in the part, like Jimmy yard sales Chelsea. Like I can't believe he did that. Like that was so crazy.
Jimmy Yard. What?
Don't
what?
Ray,
What?
just Google it later.
Never mind. Just we'll get to it later. But okay, so like Jeremy storms off again. Small child taking my ball and going home.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, this
I
is
guess
one of those I wrote. Like, the last note I had for that was like, I will say it was ridiculous, but also like, why is this such a big fucking deal? Like, I felt like everybody was
because they're
making
all
way.
super drunk.
Yes. And I'll really,
Yeah. But then we have the episode ends with like the Jimmy Chelsea like kind of fight. Jimmy's brain here is just like the TikTok cat that goes, huh?
Huh?
Like I think that's what his brain
He
is.
is not processing all. He's got a four banger in his head, and only one of the cylinders is firing right
It's
now.
making
Like,
dial-up sounds. I swear to God, like be do, like because then he like his output is like, I'm sorry you feel that way,
Yep.
which is just like the worst thing that you can say to anybody who's mad about
Yep.
just about anything ever.
And I feel like
Like-
in this fight they resolve it and reach out to each other, and then one of them says something stupid, and it goes like, it happens like 3 times where we go through this cycle of like, we're starting to calm down, and then they fucking flare it back up again.
I took notes on this because I was like, I made sure not to black out because it was the last 10 minutes, so I locked in.
He was
I put on
locked
my
in.
harness.
You just
And,
sit up.
and it's just homegirl right there, just being odd. Like that's all it is.
I mean, yes, this is very much Chelsea's insecurity on full display right now. The last note I had for it was she said something on the lines of, "I don't need you by my side at all times," and I'm like, my sister in Christ, you very clearly do, because the second he wasn't beside you, you got really fucking pissy.
Yeah, the meme in my head that was I played the meme in my head of the guy dancing with his shirt off. Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Again, this might be brain damage Mike coming in here, but
Oh no!
I say Chelsea's really cooking here.
Oh,
I really don't think anything that
Josh left. Josh said I can't do that.
I just at this point I'm still very much like Team Chelsea on some of this stuff. I just feel like she might be like, oh, she's being unreasonable, and maybe and again this is kind of the core problem we've established, right? Is these two people are nobody is meeting each other, like they just keep talking right past each other, and like neither of them like can like intercept the other person's like message and be like, I understand you. Like they just keep trying to propose like different, they're proposing different realities to each other constantly. And I don't think like anything she's saying here is like is really that hard for Jimmy to just be like, I just don't think this is that hard of a situation to navigate, and Jimmy just does not. And I just don't think Trevor would do this to you, Chelsea.
No. Okay. I'll play along. I'll play the game. I think Jimmy was being reasonable inside the hotel room. I think he was correct to be befuddled. I think he said, I was listening to what he said during this conversation, and he says, I wasn't ignoring you. I was gassing you up. I was constantly talking about you. I talked to AD for a couple minutes, but you were right there. I grabbed my drink. I held your hand. We walked along. I didn't know you felt this way. And it's like, yeah, hey, girl, listen, ma'am, what do you want from him?
This is one of the few times where I am on Jimmy's side a little bit. Like, my buddy ain't got the riz, but he is mostly correct here.
Yeah, I was
like,
watching this like,
as also somebody who used to get drunk and have innocuous conversations, but also give people the come hither eyes. I can't fault Chelsea too much for being upset for how things went. I dropped my headphones, so sorry about that, everybody. But also, like, if Chelsea didn't run away immediately the second he started talking to her, she would have heard him do nothing but gas her up. Gas Chelsea up.
Yeah, I think
her exact words when she went away were, "I'm going to be sick." Like, oh my god, what is your damn it?
Like, I think that like the thing is, Jimmy is like so literal about like his expressions of care and love to Chelsea, where he's like, but I held your hand, and it's like, well, it's not really about the fact that you held her hand. It's like this emotional thing that she's reading, and he like will describe the things. He'll be like, I said I love you 3 times today. That means I love you a lot. And to Jimmy, that feels like that's it. Like what more do you want from me? But like Jimmy is like not key. I feel like is just not keying into like the emotional, maybe a little bit over demanding here, kind of need that Chelsea has, and he just can't. He just doesn't speak to it at
Do you
all.
mean
And
to
it's like
tell
it's
me that
right
Jimmy
there.
ain't got it?
The last line I have.
Also, the music, "Dark Clouds on the Horizon," very funny.
Oh yeah, the shaky cam in the rooms.
Oh,
the
so
like
good.
they have stabilizers. They chose not to use them in this room. That
Gotta
was
get the chase.
deliberate.
Oh, so good.
The last note I have is Jimmy. You know, I actually felt sorry for him. I felt like this entire program
Never feel sorry for Jimmy.
has been beating him up, and so he says,
Yeah, as
she
it should.
says, do you love me? And he says, I will always say I love you. And I was like, yeah, that's a sweet thing to say. And then she grabs his hand and she says, are you sure? Like, oh no, that's it, that's enough. Nah, Chelsea fans are in shambles right now.
We need like a blow for blow, like boxing title weight, like or boxing heavyweight, like title bout, like description of like the scoring for these Chelsea like Jimmy fights, because there's so many little things here and there. It's like, is that a hit? Is that like a glancing blow? Like, what's the scoring?
Yep,
like,
yep.
I does this round? I kind of think this round went to Chelsea, but the other judges think this is a Jimmy one. So,
I need Chelsea to recognize that she is a beautiful woman, that she has quote unquote nailed down a man that Mike says is the equivalent of a golden retriever that has robbed a human body, and who Josh has made a mortal enemy. But if this is the attitude she's bringing to the party, sorry Chelsea, this might be the best you get for the time being. And he, you know, I know you guys are saying he's in his feelings, and I don't think it's real. I don't know. After if any of this is real, if none of this is kayfabe, I was kind of buying like, hey, he is really attempting to calm her down. I'm buying this notion that hey, he's legitimately trying right now. He's not blowing her off. He is accepting the explanation she's giving. And then one of her counter arguments to the explanation is, well, sometimes I need you to just be with me, even if I'm not right. And it's like, ooh, what?
You need to pick your battles. You know, my wife is always right, to be clear. But like, sometimes you just have to let things go, Jimmy. Even if you maybe feel like
he was absolutely trying to let that whole thing go.
You know what you never have to let go?
What?
Unscripted Gaming doc.
Okay.
That is where you can find all of the happenings of the Unscripted Gaming crew and our various podcasts, including our normal gaming podcast and your all's favorite episode.
You might have to do one of
series.
those. Things are kind of blowing up there.
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, the gaming world's popping off, but you know what else is popping off
Yeah.
is the fucking dating world. So you can find our socials there, Unscripted Game Podcast on Facebook, on X at unscript_gaming. You can find all of our audio links at soundcloud.com/unscripted-gaming. You can get all the links to our various podcatchers. And
Mailbag.
do not forget, from now on, questions, comments, other things you want us to talk about on the pod, mailbag at unscriptedgaming.com. Send us an electronic mail. Thank you for listening to Unscripted Gaming. My name is Josh.
My name is Ray.
My name is Mike.
Peace.